The countdown has begun. Countdown to good football, Mace?
Hope so.
For the love of God.
A better game than we've seen in the past.
Going to Florida, though. Humidity. Although I do love Tampa. I miss the Shrine game in Tampa. Dallas was awesome, but man, Tampa.
It wasn't really Tampa, though. It was St. Pete.
St. Pete.
St. Pete's a different city than Tampa.
I love both.
There's a reason why the teams are called Tampa Bay, and it's to reflect the entire area, not just Tampa, but St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Sarasota, Bradenton, Lakeland, Plant City, Dunedin, Tarpon Springs, Seminole, Palmetto, Brandon, Newport Richey, Port Richey, Spring Hill, Brooksville.
You got them all.
No, I don't have them all. There's a lot more.
Well, let's just say I liked going to Tampa for certain things off the record. And then I like going to St. Pete. I like going to St. Pete.
Yes.
So there you go. I like it if the Broncos can fix this thing, Mason. Mm-hmm. We got a lot to get to. Nice. Let's begin here because you mentioned this comment in the locker room. We're there today, of course, Orange Blue today on the scene. You said it was nice Sean Payton just got to the right tackle situation.
Yes. Didn't dance around saying, oh, well, we'll see who it's going to be in place of Mike McGlinchey. Just came right out and said it. It's going to be Alex Palczewski, which look, we can't see much of practice, but the parts we can see, if you know what you're looking for, you can get an idea on groupings and things like that. And let's just say there were a couple of tells from that 25 minutes or so that we see that told me, yeah, it's going to be Palczewski starting at right tackle. Now, Matt Parrott has experience at right tackle, played both right and left with the New York Giants. But first of all, when they needed a fill-in right tackle there for those 2 snaps at the end of the game on Sunday, they went with Alex Palczewski. So that was the first sign. Then what we saw early in practice, it was a second sign. And so Sean Payton just came out and said it. Palczewski, or as everyone in the locker room calls him, Palcho, is going to get the snaps.
That's got to be the coolest nickname, right? Palcho. And that's why when you asked Jonathan Cooper about him, he's like, who? And he's go, oh, Palcho.
Because I said Alex Palczewski.
Yeah.
And Palcho. That's actually really cool. Here's a guy who hasn't started a regular season game for the Broncos, spent most of last year on IR. He's got a nickname. The entire locker room refers to him by a nickname. And that's usually a good sign of how well liked you are. If they've got a nickname for you and that's just what you go by, it's very typically a sign of affection.
Yes, and you heard it from the teammates. We've got comments from several guys here about Palcho and what he can do. You want to play Coop first? Let's go ahead and play Coop.
Let's start with Coop. And the reason why I asked Coop about Alex Palczewski, Palcho for short, is when you've got training camp practices, off-season practices, if you're an edge rusher, you're going up against the right tackle. So Coop's seen a lot of Palczewski the last couple of training camps and in practice. And so here's what number 0 in the scorecard, number 1 in your heart, Jonathan Cooper, had to say about Palcho.
He's good. He plays physical. He plays hard. He started a lot of football. He knows the game of football. That's what I have noticed the most about him, is that he knows how to play the game of football. I think he just has to fit more into the scheme of the offense. I mean, obviously, I don't really know everything, but I know that once he feels comfortable in the scheme, he's gonna be just fine.
Coop's gonna win Good Guy of the Year for the media because my God, I love talking to him. I just love chopping it up with him. He gives us such great answers, and when he says he knows a lot of football, he's played a lot of football.
65 college starts at the University of Illinois.
More than Bo Nix had.
More than anybody. 65 college starts. 49 at tackle, 16 at guard. Of course, you can build up that many starts because you've got bowl games, but also the extra COVID year as well that he got coming out of Illinois. Spent last year on injured reserve, was designated for return and got to practicing at the end of the season, but didn't actually get in a game, and then end up sticking. And now here we are. You do wonder what the algorithm would have been for a succession plan if Quinn Bailey, Mr. Versatility, can play 4 positions, had not suffered that season-ending injury back in training camp. But Quinn Bailey's not in the mix, and the next man up is Alex Palczewski for his first NFL start.
It's exciting. He's excited. Kale here on Facebook asked about Crum. Crum is not. He's not ready. He's not ready. So it's Palcho, it's Palczewski, and it's exciting. It's exciting for him to have this sort of energy. And this team knows. We talked to Adam Troutman. We've got the clip of him talking about the ground game. You know what you need to do. You have to execute it.
You have to execute it, but also with a rookie, not a rookie, for second-year player, but a guy making his first professional start. You're going to have to protect him a little bit, and that was something that Sean Payton had brought up when he discussed Palczewski after practice today.
Well, look, it's part of our league, and certainly Mike's a veteran, and now, Palcho's one of those guys that he's been competing, and I think, we'll be smart relative to what we're doing protection-wise, but he's played in a lot of football games, and look, I know we'll be excited about his first start.
We'll be smart about what we're doing protection-wise. So what that tells you is this may be a game where you're not going scat protection here.
You're keeping a tight end in. You're going heavy. You're going jumbo, which is good. They need to run the ball.
So this may be a game where you see a lot more of Adam Troutman even than you've seen. You might see a lot more of Michael Burton coming in from fullback to help. You probably see a lot of Nate Adkins as well. Giving Palczewski just that extra support to help him out. And then also on the interior, the guy next to him, of course, is Quinn Miners, and he's going to have to help him. There's going to be a lot on Quinn Miners in this game because to his left is Luke Wattenberg, who is, a relatively new starter at center. To his right is going to be Alex Palczewski making his first NFL start. So, for a guy like Miners, who's, as he talked about last week, wasn't real happy with how he played that first game. It did go better for him in the second game, but still not where he wants to be. Now he's got this. I mean, he's going to have to lead here as Quinn Miners. This is why he's got the C on his jersey. It's a very important juncture for Quinn Miners in terms of his growth as a leader, basically being surrounded by 2 guys who are going to need all the help they can get.
Yep. Well, you got the big paycheck. Now here comes the big responsibility. And the good thing is, we'll get more into this later in the week and certainly on our Saturday pregame show. Tampa's banged up in the secondary. Tampa's banged up on the defensive line. So you have some advantages. This isn't Pittsburgh that you're facing. Still a tough defense, still a well-coached defense. We're going to take nothing away from what Tampa Bay can do defensively.
Yeah.
But just know that some of their best players up front on the line and in the secondary are all banged up.
Well, just to kind of reset it here, William Golston didn't practice today. Vita Vea didn't practice today. And in the secondary on the back end, Antoine Winfield Jr. didn't practice.
Yep.
Jamel Dean was limited today, but both these teams are coming in, even though only early in the season, both these teams are coming in here banged up. I mean, for the Broncos, they had, in addition to Mike McGlinchey being on IR, Baron Browning didn't practice. John Franklin Myers, concussion protocol, didn't practice, although he was on the field at the start of practice. That's a good sign in terms of his progression through the steps of the protocol. JL Skinner didn't practice, ankle injury. Brandon Jones didn't practice today. He has a foot issue. Now, we'll see where some of these guys are at tomorrow. I imagine we may see at least a couple of those guys doing more tomorrow than they did today. But the Broncos are kind of banged up as well. Good news, though, that Devon Vele back on the field, limited practice today. His first practice since he had that rib injury back against Seattle in week 1.
The fix to me comes with the ground game. So Adam Troutman in the locker room today, when you and I got to talk to him, and again, just selfishly, Mace, I like how you and I kind of run some of those interviews. It's like, we'll ask all the questions. Everyone get your cameras ready. Me and Mace are here. We're going to ask them all because let's talk some ball. And Troutman really revealed something here in talking about the ground game. Let's give it a listen.
I think on a lot of the plays you see, it's like maybe 1 or 2 errors. A lot of times it's 1, and it kind of ruins the play. So it's just on everybody to be more consistent every snap, honestly. But it really shows how much of a team sport this is. Like, one guy messes up the whole play. It doesn't matter if the other 10 are right. So just everyone be more consistent.
Okay. And this is the thing with the run. When it works well, it has to be it's a symphony. It's everybody hitting the notes at the right time. If one is off, the whole thing blows up. You can mask that a lot better in the passing game than you can in the run game. And it's good that he pointed this out. Sometimes everyone needs a reminder that all it takes is one. It's why back when Mike Shanahan was coaching the Broncos and that zone blocking scheme, it was so effective. It was when it was popping. I mean, it was man.
It's a machine.
But I mean, it was beautiful. It was like listening to Mozart. It was all the elements of it working in perfect time to create something beautiful as a collective. Well, we haven't seen that. Now you've got a new right tackle coming in. So the challenge of getting there and avoiding that, okay, one's off and that's it. It just went up a little bit when you've got somebody like Alex Palczewski making his first start on Sunday. So this is going to be the Broncos know what they need to do. The question is, are they going to be able to do it effectively? Are they going to be able to get this right soon enough? So the old cliche, it's a race to get better in the early part of the season because the preseason snaps aren't what they used to be. So
Vegas Larry says you want a more stable desk.
Yeah, well, it's just
it's a TV.
It's a rolling desk. It also doesn't help that this is my iPad here. So
that's why
it's one of those. It's not a laptop. Like if it were a laptop, it'd be more stable, but the iPad is just easier to have out in front. So
there we go. Easier to have out in front is the running backs. We'll figure out if Javonte can be Javonte. It's time for a quick hook, Mace. It's time for Sean Payton to do kind of what he's alluded to after the game of like, we need more Jaleel. We need more Tyler Beatty.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if it's Javonte at halftime and he's averaging 1-2 yards carry, you're the 2-minute back, Javonte.
It's got to be a bit of a feel thing. And you know what? There are some teams where we've seen the hot hand theory at running back. If you've got a 1 and 1A, now if you've got a clear 1, 2, 3, it becomes less the hot hand, more, okay, where do things go in terms of priority? I think maybe going into this, the Broncos should treat the 3 running backs they have like 1A, 1B, 1C. And assuming that it's the same running backs as last week in terms of Javonte Williams, Jaleel McLaughlin, Tyler Beatty. If it's those same 3, whoever's hot. Like if Tyler Beatty has a couple of runs that pop, you keep feeding Beatty. If Jaleel has a couple of runs that pop, you keep feeding Jaleel. I mean, if you weren't limited by game day roster size, I'd say make sure you have Blake Watson active as well. And so if you go through those 3 guys and they're not healthy, let's give Blake Watson a shot. I mean, beyond Javonte Williams on the current 53, because of course Audric Estime is on the injured reserve. Beyond Javonte Williams, the guy who physically probably can be an every down guy is Blake Watson.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's good in space, very good catching the ball, but he's sturdy enough to be able to go between the tackles.
And boy, is he fast.
Yeah.
He could be their best all-purpose back. He's just down. Yeah,
he's got to be ready. He's still playing catch up. You You lose the first couple weeks of training camp, you're coming from behind, especially when you're a rookie. And this is your first exposure to a very complex scheme. So you may just have to play the long game with Blake Watson. But if the Broncos can't get answers from the running backs they have up right now, at some point you will see Blake Watson. At some point he will get his turn.
Yeah, it's just not you're not gonna go get Kareem Hunt, who I think the Chiefs already picked up, but it's like, the help is in your building, the help that you're going to get. It's in your building. Now just see if they can use it, see if they get the opportunity.
No one's coming to save us, as John Fox would say.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta be within you.
Kyle asks a question: with 2 away games, 2 difficult opponents, are you predicting some of the major issues to get addressed on these road games? We'll get more into that, and of course, we'll be in West Virginia.
West Virginia?
Virginia. There is an R there somewhere. Virginia.
Virginia and West Virginia?
Yes. So we're going to be there. But the thing for me, Mace, and Troutman talked about it today, we've got some audio from Riley Moss, stuff like that. It's a bonding moment. It's them against the world, Mace. Nobody believes in them. All the hype is gone. Nobody's talking about the Broncos.
Yeah, and if they lose this game to Tampa Bay and they are 0-3, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they go out there, come together, find themselves, get a win, start a run. But they are sort of viewing the trip to Tampa as well as part of the whole process of, okay, we're getting away. We're packing our bags. We're going to be gone for 9 days, right? We got to figure this thing out together. It's the interesting thing is you hear guys talk about it's a bonding experience. That's the kind of bonding experience that used to happen at training camp when you didn't have it on site at your facility. You went off to a college campus. I mean, for many, many years, the Broncos went to UNC up in Greeley. Before that, they went to CSU up in Fort Collins. I'm one who does think something has been lost by staying home for training camp. Obviously, it's a lot more convenient. It's much easier on the staff because you don't have to pack up things and send them to a university 70 miles away or whatever. But you do miss kind of the time, the bonding time. I mean, back up in Greeley, players would go down to this bar a lot of nights that was down the road from the dorms.
Smiling Moose?
The Smiling Moose is not there anymore.
Really? It's not there?
No.
Are there no more Smiling Mooses in Colorado? There used to be one in Fort Fun too, I believe. But no more Smiling Moose. There's a different Smiling Moose that's a deli, and it's in downtown Denver. The Smiling Moose Sandwich Grill. Okay. Yeah,
but I don't think that's connected to the old Smiling Moose.
Yeah.
That you had.
Yeah. Loved it.
Yeah, there's Smiling Moose Rocky Mountain Deli has locations in Denver, Evergreen, Edwards, Gillette, Wyoming, and Watford, North Dakota.
Whoa. That's kind of stretched out over the place.
The Smiling Moose bar, long gone. Yep. But yeah, if the walls in the old Smiling Moose could talk, they'd tell you a lot of John Elway stories, among others.
Yeah.
But that's what used to happen when you went away. Hey, look, I know Damani Leach, Broncos team president, said the goal was to have training camp on site at Broncos headquarters, Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit, have it there next summer. If this trip goes well, and like you say, there's bonding that goes on, I wouldn't be surprised to see Sean Payton push for having training camp somewhere on the road next year. Maybe somewhere in Colorado. Maybe he takes them back to the Greenbrier in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But if this does bring the team together, with Broncos Park being a construction zone, who knows?
Who knows? But you got to win, so It's easier for Greg to spend that money to send you to a resort.
If you lose, like if you come back from this East Coast not a vacation. This
Getaway.
This East Coast, getaway itinerary, whatever you want to call it. If you come back from this with 2 losses and you're 0-4, you're having training camp on site next year.
Don't ask for anything, Sean.
Yeah.
Win. And then ask.
How optimistic are you that the Broncos come back from this fortnight with a win?
They'll go 1-1.
Okay. I think they'll go 1-1 too.
Mm-hmm. They'll get the Jets, who we get to see tomorrow night, by the way.
Oh, yes.
So a little advanced scouting.
I don't think they will come back from this 0-4. I think they will get at least 1 win. I'd feel a lot better if they'd managed to beat Pittsburgh. Again, I kept talking about 2-2. If you're 2-2, that means everything's in play. If you get to 2-2, holy smokes, you win 2 games on the road, you're feeling great.
Mm-hmm.
Go 2-2 on this swing, and you probably feel better than at any other moment of the Sean Payton era to date, except maybe the day you beat Kansas City. But even then, you beat Kansas City, it meant that you stood pat at the trading deadline and didn't get yourself some extra picks. So was it all that great?
All right. You need some of that youthful energy like, Palcho has. Now, we got to tell the story before we play the clip because he talked about learning from Mike McGlinchey. I believe it was one of your questions.
Yes.
But you and I talked about it in the locker room, Mace, the energy from this kid.
Yeah. The
respect from his teammates, but then this, wide-eyed, youthful, not like a Bambi type of thing, but like I get to play in the NFL thing. You love this energy. 65
starts in college, and now all that work, all the extra work he put in as long as he was there at Illinois, now it's paying off with the chance of a lifetime. But it's a chance of a lifetime that comes with a lot of learning on the way, and in particular for him, a lot of learning from the guy who's going to be filling in for him, Mike McGlinchey.
Like Mike McGlinchey has helped me tenfold since I've gotten here to improve, but it's been an awesome time here so far.
What kind of tips has Mike given you?
Just a lot of stuff. Like a big thing is like he's been here. He's been in the league for, I think this is 8th year now. And so it's just kind of like stuff that he had to go through that he wished someone would have told him. He's helping me figure out that stuff and just getting to pick his brain and how he thinks and how he goes about his process. It's been an awesome chance to have.
Yeah, been an awesome chance for him to have. And I just love seeing that energy. It's exciting, man. You don't get this opportunity all the time.
Well, I also love what he said about McGlinchey, how a big part of what he's sharing with him is, hey, this is what I wish I'd known when I got in the league. That's good leadership. That's being a really good teammate.
Yep.
I imagine that's going to continue on Sunday, assuming Mike McGlinchey makes the trip. Sometimes injured players make the trip. Sometimes they don't. If he does, I'm guessing he's going to be right there in Palczewski's ear, every moment he can get.
I'd love it. I'd love to see that. I'd also love to see a greater emphasis on running and the offense looking good, setting up Bo with some play action opportunities. Like these are all things we have some checklists that we need to see. After 2 losses, it's time to start clicking.
Yes.
Everybody.
And you want to run the ball and you want to have some sustained possessions here. Because believe it or not, even though the Bucs are acclimated to the conditions in which the game is going to be played, which is to say sauna, you can get to them if you control the pace and you pound away. You can wear them down. But you've got to have them, have them playing on their heels. You've got to keep them out there on the field. I mean, few things would be better ceased than a good solid 6 to 7 minute drive. You get, you're not falling off schedule on 1st and 2nd downs. You're setting up 3rd and makeable, getting a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 3 after a couple of runs, and you're keeping the chains moving, and you are draining clock and draining energy from the Bucs defense, which, like you mentioned earlier, is banged up right now. There's an opportunity there.
I also like the fact that Alex told us how he chooses you, Mace. He chose the Denver Broncos because of Zach Strief.
Yeah.
That's big.
Chose because of the coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the Big Ten thing, I guess. Zach Strief's Northwestern guy. Palczewski's an Illinois guy.
Right.
Big time rivalry there in the land of Lincoln.
There you go. Our guy Wardell says, I wish we could make plays like other teams. Yeah, there's a little jealousy, especially when you see somebody like New Orleans. Derek Carr doesn't even throw 20 times, and they score like 40 points.
Derek Carr has fewer passes in 2 games than Bo Nix had in his first game.
Yeah. Yep. And you see how the running teams are the winning teams. It's only 2 games. It's a long season. But the trend is we're not passing anymore. Defense playing quarters or umbrella. We're going to run the ball. You can run the ball. You can win in this league. And the Broncos can't run the ball.
If you're going to play umbrella and you're going to play nickel, fine. So you're going to play nickel and you're going to take a man out of the box. Fine. We're going to come at you. The Broncos, unfortunately, though, you've got to, the Broncos are having to run the ball against more stacked boxes than other teams are seeing. So the Broncos, they need to run the ball, but they may need to do just enough in the passing game to unclog that box a little bit, because right now you're seeing a lot of stacked boxes, and the calculus is hurting the Broncos at this point.
Sutton one-on-one. Make it happen. Just like we're going to do some Tommy Boy moments. Don't you remember you told me you love me, baby?
Yeah, I can take it if you can. I just don't want to hit a deer.
Yeah.
And then have it in the back seat.
Right. You killed Bambi. But we could sing some
Tommy
John
want
Denver.
wingy. Yeah.
Oh, him afraid to come out. He just a little guy.
Oh, yeah.
Look, everybody, it's Papa Smurf.
Should I find a little coat? That guy in a little coat.
You've been looking slim on those post-game videos, buddy. Don't cut yourself short now.
Yeah,
slim and trim out there.
Thank you. That guy in a little coat.
Were you watching Spanktravision?
Yeah.
This is where Bonneville's like, can you please stop talking about Spanktravision?
You did it, not me.
I know. I'll get in trouble for that one. That's fine. That's fine. All right, Mace. Yeah, you feeling good today? Is that a wrap? We done?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Righteous. We'll be
Leave
out there
some in
tomorrow.
the back pocket for tomorrow.
Yeah, we got plenty to say. Plenty to say. More stuff coming up from Riley Moss, from Cooper, from Adam Troutman, from whoever we talk to in the locker room tomorrow. Coordinators talk tomorrow. So we always got a lot to get to here on this program. We're here for you. We ask only a few things, Mace. How can people help us out on YouTube?
Like,
comment,
share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell
so that you
never miss
a vid. That's right. He's Andrew Mason. Follow him on all the socials at Mace Denver. I'm at Cecil Lammey saying OBT's a BFD. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay frosty.